Hi guys! Welcome to my YouTube channel, and today we're going to be talking about yung mga remaining consonants dun sa Korean alphabets. So for today, yung mga letters na pag-uusapan natin, they're a little bit complicated kasi medyo situational sila and depende kung saan sila nakalagay dun sa word. And also yung mga letters surrounding them, it can also affect them kung paano sila ipopronounce. So yung mga letters natin for today are letter B, letter D, letter G, and letter J. So as your official romanization, ito yung mga letters na ginagamit natin to distinguish them. Okay? So they are B, D, G, and J. So yung mga letters na to, they can have the same sound as your English letters na B, D, G, and J. However, in some cases, yung letter B mo can also sound like a P. Your letter D can also sound like a T. Your letter G can also sound like a K. Your letter J can also sound like a CH. So, depende yan sa situation kung paano sila ginagamit. But before ko explain sa inyo kung paano sila nag-vary or kung paano sila nag-change depending on sa situation, I need to explain to you guys kung paano ba bumuo ng Korean characters. So, 90% of the time, ang Korean characters are usually composed by using 2 letters or using 3 letters. So, now makikita niyo sa screen, meron tayong mga empty boxes. And these empty boxes na to will be occupied by a single letter only. So it can either be a consonant or a vowel. Another thing about the Korean characters is that meron silang fina-follow na sequence. So now, makikita nyo na meron mga numbers dun sa mga boxes na yan. These numbers are yung sequence or yung order kung paano natin sila fill upan ng mga Korean letters. Okay? Kasi in Korean, meron tayong fina-follow na sequence. It's usually yung priority na left to right or top to bottom. So, kung magkatabi sila na side to side, edi magiging left to right yung priority at magsusulat ka from left to right. Pag makapatong naman sila, magsusulat ka sa taas tapos sa baba. Okay? And then, pag magkahalo naman na sila, ang gagawin mo, isa-separate mo yung top and bottom. Uunahin mo yung top and then susulatin mo from left to right. And then, bago ka mag-move on dun sa bottom. So, ganun siya. And then, I don't know kung natatandaan niyo pa sa episode 1, sinabi ko rin is that meron tayong rule sa Korean that all Korean character has to start with a consonant. So, most of the time, ang sequence talaga ng pagsulat natin sa Korean is that consonant first, and then vowel, and then kung tatlo yung letters na ginagamit mo, it's consonant, vowel, consonant. Okay, yan. Na-explain ko na sa inyo yung basic foundation kung paano ba bumuo ng Korean characters. So now, pwede na natin simulan i-explain kung paano ba nagbabago yung tunog ng 4 letters na in-introduce ko today. So para malaman nyo kung anong sound yung gagamitin nyo for these letters, you have to follow these rules. Rule number 1, you have to use soft sounds when these letters are placed at the start of a word or at the end of a character. So, ano ba yung soft sound? So, as you can see, dun sa letters natin, meron tayong 2 sets of sounds. So, yung B, D, G, and J mo, these are considered as your hard sounds. And then for your P, T, K, CH, these are considered as your soft sounds. So, sabi sa rule number 1, kung yung mga letters na to napunta sa start of a word and end of a character, ang gagamitin nating tunog ay yung mga soft sound. So, ano ba yung start at saka end? So, yung start is yung number 1 dun sa sequence natin kanina. Yung end naman is yung last letter dun sa composition mo. Kung 2 letter lang gamit mo, edi yung second letter, yun yung end mo. Kung 3 letters naman ang gamit mo, yung 1 yung start mo, yung 3 yung end mo. Okay? Clear ba yun? Okay, so magbibigay na ako ng isang example using our letter B. So for letter B, ang word natin is this one. This word means rice in Korean. So as you can see, we have the letters in the sequence of B, A, and B. So kung babasahin natin siya based dun sa official romanization natin, ang basa dyan is bab. Pero hindi ganoon ang pagbasa sa kanya. Kasi nga, based dun sa rule 1, ang sabi sa atin is that use soft sounds when these letters are placed at the start of the word and at the end of a character. So since yung letter B natin napunta siya dun sa 1 tsaka number 3, then we have to use the soft sound, which is letter P. So ang tunog dyan is pop, pop. So similarly, pag gamit mo naman is letter D, instead na basa is dad, kasi we have the official romanization as letter D, ang basa dyan is going to be tat, tat. Kasi soft sounds ang kailangan natin gamitin. Okay? So it's going to be tat, tat. Okay, so next for your letter G, we have this word. So this word we have in the sequence of letter G, letter U, and letter G. So kung babasahin natin siya normally, it's going to be gug. But since kailangan na natin gamitin is soft sounds, ang basa dyan is hook, hook, hook. Okay? So, ganun lang siya kabilis. Okay? So, yung letter J man naman, actually, yung letter J has a irregular condition pag nasa end siya ng character. So hindi muna natin siya gagamitin for 3-letter character for this rule. So, gamitin lang natin for 2-letter character. So, let's say we have this word in the sequence of letter J and letter A. So, instead of reading it as ja, it's going to be read as cha, cha, cha. So aside from your rule number 1, we have rule number 2, which says that you have to use hard sounds when this is followed by a placeholder. So let's use yung word natin earlier, which is pop, and then let's place a placeholder next to it, and then let's put another vowel, let's say letter I. So if we're going to read them separately, it's going to be pop, E, pop, E. But since we have rule number 2, ang magiging basa dyan is pabi, pabi, pabi. So let's just break down the word, okay? So kung mapapansin nyo, meron tayong 2 consonants. Yung first consonant natin follows rule number 1. So magiging soft sound siya. Yung second consonant natin, which is at the end of our first character, which is followed by a placeholder at the second character, this consonant will follow rule number 2, which is a hard sound. So kaya instead of letter P, it's going to be letter B. So pabi, pabi. Okay, so naiintindihan nyo ba yung rule number 2? So I'm just going to list down yung mga words na gagamitin natin for this rule number 2 para ma-explain ko easily. So mapapansin nyo na meron tayong isang word na meron tayong 2 consonants at different places, at the start and at the end of the character. So kung papansinin nyo, same format lang, so same ruling lang yung mangyayari. Yung consonant nyo at the start of the word will always follow rule number 1, while yung consonant nyo at the end of the first character will always follow rule number 2 kasi nga may katabi siyang placeholder. So for this word, if we're going to read it separately, it's going to be tat, a, tat, a. So for this word, we're going to read it as tada, tada, not tata, tata. Hindi siya tata. Kasi nga, itong consonant na to will have to follow rule number 2. Okay? That's why it's going to be a hard sound, which is a letter D. Tada, tada. So for this word, instead of reading it as cook o, it's going to be read as kugo, kugo. Kasi nga, yung consonant natin dito will become hard rather than a soft kasi sa rule number 2. Okay? So this word is kugo. And then for your letter J, so wala akong masyadong maisip na word. So let's just use this one instead. So it's majang, majang. So like I said, yung J natin dito at the end of the first character is a hard sound instead of a CH, which is a soft sound, kasi nga it follows rule number 2. Okay, so it's maja, maja, maja. Okay, so yung rules natin so far only applies usually pag yung consonant nandun sa first character. So paano naman kung yung mga consonants natin napunta sa second character? So that leads me to my rule number 3, which says that you have to use hard sounds when these letters are preceded by a vowel. So I'm going to show you all the words na gagamitin natin here and isa-isa natin silang i-break down. So as you can see, dun sa first word natin, we have letter B at the same location at the different characters, di ba? So they're both at the start of the character, pero magkaiba sila ng tunog. Ang basa sa kanila is pabo. Pabo. So kung papansinin nyo, yung first B natin is a soft sound, and then yung second B natin is a hard sound. Kasi nga yung letter B dito follows rule number 1, while this letter follows rule number 3 kasi it is preceded by a vowel. So kung papansinin niyo yung mga words na ginamit ko dito, actually is kinda same format. Meron tayong same consonant at the same location at different characters. So babasahin sila ng tuloy-tuloy and I hope na mapansin nyo kung ano yung difference. Okay? So here we go. Pabo, pabo. Teda, teda. Kogi, kogi. 자주, 자주. So kung papansinin nyo, yung first consonants natin dun sa first character is a soft sound, and then yung consonant natin at the start of the second character is always a hard sound. Okay, so paano naman ngayon kung preceded by a consonant? So that is rule number 4. So you have to use soft sounds when these letters are preceded by a consonant. So I'm going to give you this word. So kung papansinin nyo, marami tayong consonant. So i-breakdown lang natin. So we have 4 consonants at different locations. So we have at the start of the first character, at the end of the first character, at the start of the second character, and at the end of the second character. So kung papansinin nyo, meron tayong letter N dun sa end of the second character. So hindi natin siya papansinin kasi nga hindi naman siya nagpa-follow sa rule na to. Hindi sila kasama dun sa letters natin today, okay? So, ang papansinin lang natin ay yung remaining na tatlo, okay? So, yung consonant natin at the start of the first character is always going to follow rule number 1. Kung papansinin niyo yung mga words na ginamit natin kanina, lahat yon puro rule number 1 yon. So, it's going to remain as a soft sound. So, yung second consonant naman natin is at the end of the first character. So, it's going to follow still rule number 1. So, it's still going to remain as a soft sound. Yung third consonant naman natin, which is at the start of the second character natin, is preceded by a consonant, letter K. So, it will follow rule number 4. Ang rule number 4 says that you have to use a soft sound when this letter is preceded by a consonant. So, ang basa dito sa word na to is pekpan. 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 So kung napansin nyo, we have letter P here, and we have letter K here, and then we have letter P again here. So nagiging soft sound silang lahat, okay? However, yung rule number 4 natin, meron yung special case, okay? Which is rule number 5. You have to use hard sounds kapag yung mga consonants na nagpre-precede ay letter M, N, NG, at R. So, this word is read as panban. Panban. So, kung papansinin nyo, halos parehas lang siya dun sa word natin kanina kasi meron tayong consonants at the same locations. So, meron tayong consonant dito, may consonant tayo dito, may consonant tayo dyan. Okay? So, kung tatandaan nyo kanina, lahat ng letters natin doon ay naging soft. Okay? Pero tandaan nyo, meron tayong rule number 5 nga. So, ang mangyayari ngayon is that itong consonant na to follows rule number 1 kaya magiging soft siya. And then this one follows rule number 5 kasi meron siyang letter N that precedes it. Okay? So, hindi siya magiging soft. It will be hard. Okay? So, ang basa sa kanya is panban. Panban. So, kanina, ang basa natin dito is pekpan, pekpan, pekpan. Diba? Parehas na soft sounds. Pero dito, ang basa natin is panban, panban. Okay? Okay, so tapos na tayo dun sa 4 letters natin. But actually, hindi pa tayo tapos sa Korean alphabets kasi meron pa tayo natitirang dalawa. And those are your letter S and your letter R. So, unahin ko muna yung S. Yung S kasi actually is supposed to be included dun sa previous episode na aspirated and non-aspirated. Pero kasi meron siyang konting, may konting special thing siya, kaya hiniwalay ko na lang din. Pero actually, yung concept sa kanya is a little bit the same, aspirated and non-aspirated. So, you have two kinds of S, your single S and your double consonant na S. So, this single S, this is your aspirated. So, every time na sasabihin nyo, lagi siya may air. So, I'm gonna give you letter S with all the vowels. Yung 5 lang gagamitin natin, okay? So, it's sa, se, shi, so, su. Di ba medyo simple lang siya kasi you're kinda just reading it. Pero kung papansinin nyo, may isa doon parang weird. And that is yung letter I. Kasi ang letter S, pag sinundan nyo ng letter I, hindi siya C. It's she. Nagiging kinda SHI siya. So, ganun lagi yung basa sa S and I pag magkasama. So, it's sa, se, shi, so, su. Okay? So, that is your single S. Yung double S mo naman is non-aspirated. So, same concept as the previous episode, wala lang hangin. So, ang gagawin nyo is ganito. Sa, se, shi, so, su. So, kung papansin nyo, wala talagang air. Napaka-dry nung tunog niya. Pero itong word na to is almost the same as yung isa. She. Okay, yung isa, she. And the last consonant is yung letter R. So, itong letter R naman na to is kind of the same as your 4 consonant kanina. Pero ano lang siya, medyo hindi siya hard and soft, parang ganun. So, ganito na lang tandaan nyo. Yung R, pag nasa-start siya, it's always going to be like an R. Okay? Pero pag at the end of a character siya, it's going to be an L. Ganun siya lagi. So, that's why, pag sinasabi natin yung ramyon, it's kinda an R. It's always an R. And then, pag sa dulo naman siya, nagiging L. So, I'll give you a word na gamit itong letter na to at the end. So, we have this word. It's mal. So, kung napapansin nyo, yung R na sa end siya nung word. So, instead of an R, it's going to be an L. Mal. So, pag nasa second character naman siya and preceded by a vowel, it's going to be always a letter R. Okay? And then this letter is usually not preceded by consonants aside from itself. So, it's always still going to be a letter L. So, molly. So, kung napansin niyo sa word na to, yung L natin, magkatabi sila. Diba? Magkatabi from your second character and your first character. Magkatabi silang letter R. So, ang basa sa kanila is letter L. So, it's molly. So, I'm not gonna give you too much examples kasi baka mas malito kayo. So, I want you to focus only on those examples. And I want you guys to repeat the video over and over again hanggang sa mas medyo maintindihan nyo. Kasi I'm sure na marami kayong confusion dyan. And I'm not expecting you guys na maintindihan nyo sila agad-agad because this is somewhat very complicated, okay? Kahit na hindi nyo maintindihan masyado ngayon, I want the information to retain in your head. Tapos, later on, pag na-encounter nyo, matatandaan nyo, yun pala yung sinasabi ni Alan. Yun pala yung tinuturo niya before. So, kahit hindi nyo masyado maintindihan, basta try to repeat the video over and over again and go through yung mga rules na sinabi ko talaga. Mas mag-i-stick yung foundation na yan sa inyo and magiging beneficial yan in the long run. I promise you guys, okay? So, I know this episode is a little bit loaded talaga with information, pero I hope na na-enjoy nyo pa rin and I hope na mas naging motivated kayo na matuto ng Korean just like how I was nung nag-i-start ako mag-aral ng Korean. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and thank you for watching. If you guys have any question, just drop them down in the comment section below and I'll try to address them in the later videos. Thank you for watching. Click the subscribe button and also the notification bell para updated kayo for future videos. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!